Yeah, so 6-7 off, I would open that if it folded to me in the small blind. Where's the quality gone bad? Yeah, jacks were opening. You can min raise, you can 3x, either one's fine at 5-0. Yeah, king 9, I'm going to open this. Yeah, ace jack, we're opening. Yeah, we're folding that no matter what. I think we might defend this blind versus blind, but not in any other situation. For 5 cents, I don't hate the defend. I think it's okay. Pretty good flop for us. But versus a 3x pre-flop, then I think we have to fold all the time. So here we're definitely betting, so I'd go for 15 cents. Yeah, so you just missed a clear value bet. It's not close or anything. The 5 doesn't change anything. If it was an ace, I'd understand the check, but a 5 is nothing. So yeah, we're definitely calling. And we're definitely check calling this street as well. You could maybe lead to get value from the jack. I might have a jack here. Yeah, I don't think this is a terrible spot to lead for like 30 cents, to be honest. I can see him checking back quite a lot here. So yeah, we're just snap calling this. Yeah, so I don't even hate his value bet because you've shown a lot of weakness. He'd expect you to bet the queen on the turn. So he's kind of values owned himself, but I think he's doing your job for you. I think you should be doing the betting on the turn and the river. So you can min raise this if you want, or 3x, either one's fine. Good spot to see bet as a bluff. So 20 cents is good here. 15, in my opinion, is just too small. Like he's gonna call with like an 8 here. Some weird maybe not 9-10, but a king wouldn't fold 20 bet. But I just think 15 cents is a tiny bit too small. That's a really bad card, and you've got no equity. You've got like 2 outs at best. So just shut down. Yeah, I mean you can't bet the river for value, so I think checking back's fine. But yeah, so okay, so you did have a pair of aces, that's fine. So yeah, playing that. Yeah, what the hell? You folded 5-6 suited there? Yeah, I mean that's an open like 100% of the time. 9-7 suit. It's probably a bit loose to open it here. So yeah, we're definitely playing this against the button or the small blind. Okay, we get a walk. I think folding pre-flop. Well, folding obviously once this guy races is fine. I think flat calling here is the best. We're out of position, but we can't 3-bet for value, and we can't fold either, so that only leaves flat calling really. I think we're check calling once. Yeah, definitely calling once. Yeah, that's a tiny bit too weak tight. Like if you're not calling with 8s there, you're literally only calling with a pair of aces, and that's just like massively. It's just too weak. You can have so much like garbage there, and when you call, he's not really going to barrel off too light. He's going to put you on an ace a lot of the time. So I think that's a bit too weak. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna fold this no matter what, I think. Yeah, this fold. Against an early position open, this is a fold. Yeah, good. I think we can open this if it folds to us. So yeah, we got a gutter, we got kind of strong flush draw, and we got a pretty scary board. So all things considered, we're definitely going to see bet. Yeah, I just think 15 cents is too small. If that's your standard, you're going to miss out on a lot of value when you have a strong hand, and you're going to get called a lot when you have a weak hand. So I think you should increase that to 20 cents from now on, like pretty much always. Only on like ace 3-3 rainbow would I recommend half pot or smaller, especially when the board's that wet. You want to be betting big. Yeah, this is too loose under the gun. This is, yeah, just tiny bit too loose. Like ace 10 we obviously open, but ace 9 offsuit is too loose. So yeah, we're folding here always. Yeah, nice fold. So I'd raise to 50 cents here, 55 cents maybe. I think 50 cents is fine. Quite deep, so 55 is probably a tiny bit better. We'll just set up the stack sizes better. Okay, yeah, this 3-bet is just way too small. So as a rule of thumb, you want to 3-bet to 3 times this open to 15 cents, so that would be 45 cents. And because you're going to be out of position, you want to throw in like 1 or 2 big blinds more. So yeah, that would make it like 45 cents plus 5 cents plus 5 cents, like 50 cents or 55 cents. That's just the rule of thumb. Like he's just always going to call you with a hand that has like pretty good equity, like Queen Jack, 9-8 suited, stuff like that. Really rubbish flop for you. Just check call. Yeah, half pot's just way too small here. When you've got an overpair like aces, kings, or queens, you should be betting like 45 cents, 50 cents here. So like, just think of your range. Like when you have an overpair, you want to be betting bigger, and when you've got nothing like this, I mean, you're just going to get floated a lot here, and just called by better hands. And okay, this time it worked, but just so you're aware, I think that's a pretty bad bet size. So I 3-bet to like 35 cents here. Yeah, 25 is too small, so I won't keep banging on about 3-bet sizings, but now you know what is like more standard. 3 times the open plus like 1 or 2 big blinds when you're out of position. And this is a rubbish flop as well, so I just check fold here. Like, think of the hands he's got. He's got all the 7s, all the 10s, all the 8s, all the 9s for the open ender. He's not going to fold any of it, so I just think check folding is best here. 15 cents. I just don't think it's worth even calling this, to be honest. Calling this and folding like on every river is pretty bad, so I just think it's better just to fold the turn. And yeah, I've seen that line quite a lot where they bet small on the turn and they bomb the river. It just basically scrapes out 3 big blinds out of you, which is more annoying than anything else. This is a fold. Yeah, good fold. It's a fold because you're completely crushed by the under the gun plus 1's 3-betting range. Yeah, so that guy's probably playing like. Let me close this. Let's clear this. Like under the gun +1. I mean, I'm honestly not expecting him to 3-bet any wider than this. And then your hand against that is completely crushed, so yeah, that's fine. And then you've got this guy to worry about as well. Yeah, so the only reason I went through that is because you were wiggling your mouse like you were unsure of something. Probably open this blind versus blind. Yeah, just check folding. We've got no equity whatsoever. Could maybe bet the 4 flush for like 5 cents and just see what happens. Okay, pocket jacks. I don't think he would have folded even though there's 4 to a flush out there. So yeah, we're definitely playing this in some way. This is a good candidate hand to like 3-bet bluff because your hand's not strong enough to flat, but it's got really good equity against everything. I mean, if you've got no reads on this guy and you can assume he's a fish, then you can flat and try and outplay him post flop, and you're in position, so it makes it easier. So I don't mind a call here, but against a tougher player, I'd probably prefer 3-betting it and then folding to a 4-bet. So just so you're aware of that. So I don't mind the flat. Yeah, like at 5-0, I guess a lot of people are going to come along for the ride as well. And you felt pretty good, so. Okay, so you flop top pair. You can't get married to your hand. You're definitely calling once. But we're not feeling too great about it. But yeah, like look how big this guy's betting. Like that's kind of how big you should be betting as well. Ace is kind of a lame card for you because still okay. Now we're definitely good. So yeah, I bet like probably $1 here. Yeah. So yeah, this is good. Yeah, nice bet. Okay, sweet. And now all we got to do is just go all in on this river, and that's going to be nice hand, well played. So yeah, I think you missed value here. I think you should just always go all in this spot, because if he has backed into a flush, he's never folding. And if he's got some jack and he wants to pay you off, going all in makes it look more like a bluff. So yeah, I just think all in is the play here. You can open this. It's probably seen as being too light some of the time. Well, by some people, sorry. But it's 5-0. I think you can play. Well, you should be able to play pretty good post flop, hopefully. And it has good equity when called, and yeah, you're not going to get through that bluffed all that much. So I think you can play it. So yeah, we're definitely going to isolate this to like 20 cents, 25 cents maybe, because you're quite deep. That's why I said 25 cents maybe. Okay, this is a pretty perfect flop, but it's super dry, so you want to bet smaller. So I think 30 cents here is what you'd bet if you were bluffing. So 30 cents is probably the bet size here. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it's fine. Don't defend that. Yeah, good. Given that the big blind's unlikely to squeeze us, I don't mind a flat, but I think folding would probably be standard. I think 3-betting is a pretty bad decision. Just because when you're called, you're often dominated. You're not suited. You don't have much playability in that sense. And you're never going to win a massive pot unless you somehow get straight over straight. You're only ever going to win like a small pot when you flop top pair, but you can sometimes lose a big pot when you flop top pair. They got a bigger kicker. So I think flatting or folding are the best choices. So yeah, we're definitely playing this on the button. Your hand isn't going to play well post flop if you flat. Doesn't look like you've got any hands in this guy. 25 hands. I think versus an unknown, I think we should just fold this. But yeah, I think this is just a fold. I don't think we need to get fancy with a 4-bet here. Just fold it. Yeah, calling's pretty weak. Like when he's got a better ace than you, you're just gonna get crushed. So you've got ace-8 off. If it was suited, I would like it more. But even then, I think I prefer a 4-bet. So you've got ace-8 off, and the range I put him on, he's bet quite big out of position, so I think he's a pretty competent player, or more so at least. So it's maybe something like this, and you're just like pretty far behind. On top of that, you got the reverse implied odds of when you do spike your ace. So yeah, I just prefer a fold. You got the backdoor nut flush draw. I mean, it's a pretty standard flop, like a few big cards. Like if this was an 8, you just set yourself up for failure, haven't you? Like you're basically playing with one card only. So yeah, I don't think you planned ahead as to how this hand was going to play out. It's like when you pair your ace, it's not a great situation. You can't flop a flush. You can flop a flush draw, but it's going to be 3 to a flush, and you're probably not going to get much action if you do get the 4 card to the flush. And then, yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm even talking about potentially hitting a flush with your ace is just how like desperate the situation is. Like the 8 is basically useless. You're not going to be calling many streets of that unless you flop trips. And the ace, when you pair your ace, you're often dominated. So I just think folding pre is definitely the play here. And if you aren't going to fold it, 4-bet it. And then if you were going to 4-bet it, make it like $1.20. And then fold to a all-in, obviously. Yeah, so I definitely like a raise here to like 40 cents. Yeah, calling is a bit weak tight. Like he's gonna call you when you 3-bet. I anticipate him calling with I mean a 5 and L. I think people will flat ace king a lot there. I mean, we just saw you flat ace-8, so if he plays anything like you, he's probably flatting some stuff like this. Maybe that, this, and all the pocket pairs. And then suited connectors, maybe even that. These ones I think is getting a bit tenuous. Like, you flatted ace-8, so I'm going to leave that in for the example. Maybe some suited aces, some of them, so let's just spread them out a bit. Okay, let's see, maybe that. Okay, let's see. And you've got ace jack off. And you're ahead. I mean, he's going to have a lot of playability against you, but you are ahead. So that's why I think you should 3-bet for value, because his calling range is going to be dominated by you. And he's going to have the situation of reverse implied odds. So yeah, you did call that position. You've probably got the best hand here. So I'm definitely calling a turn bet. Yeah, I still think you're good. Yeah, check calling this river. Yeah, nice hand. You can't bet for value. Yeah, we're definitely opening this in the cutoff. Yep, good. Pretty good flop, so 20 cents. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you did do the big one. So yeah, this is what I've seen like quite a bit now. People just bet bigger when they have the value hand, and bet smaller when they're bluffing. I mean, it's just so face up, like against noticing players. It's just so transparent. I'm just gonna bluff raise all of your small C bets and then fold to your big C bets. So yeah, just try and keep it similar, the bet sizing, when you got a bluff and when you got a value hand. So it makes you harder to play against. Yeah, so I think that's worth a min raise. It's pretty loose, but I just think, well, maybe these guys are going to defend a lot in that they're just going to station, but I still think it's worth raising and hopefully taking it down post flop. But I don't blame you for folding. Yeah, this is a fold. Yeah, that's too loose to open there, so that's fine. Yeah, Jack Queen suited, we're going to play this somehow. So you can raise, like you're going to dominate some of his hands which he limp calls with, like Queen 9, Queen 8, Queen 10, Jack 10, Jack 9, blah blah blah. But if he does limp King Queen, Ace Jack and stuff like that, then obviously checking is fine as well. So it's up to you. You flop a gutter and a backdoor flush draw, and you got two overcards to the 9. So I think we can call a bet here, or bet ourselves. So you got the nut non-pair hand, so you could be good here a decent percent of the time. So yeah. Okay, so we did dominate him pre-flop, but I think post-flop we played it fine. Yeah, 7-8 suited, like you've just got to open that. It plays so well post-flop, and against people who notice what you open, like if you only open big hands there, it's just pretty face up. Like if you're not opening 7-8 suited, well, I mean 7-8 suited is quite far down, but in terms of playability, you'd rather have 7-8 suited than Queen 8 suited. But you can't just open something like this. It's just too tight. Well, I mean, if I had to open an ideal range, well, not an ideal range, but it would be something like this. Some of them. Yeah, about that. Maybe some of that. Maybe some of that. Maybe that. But this is about it. Yeah, I think 5-6 is gonna be the one where you flop your pairs are too small and you flop them. But yeah, something like that. So yeah, this is a fold. Yeah, this call is really bad. So just for the sake of argument, so let's say I've opened this in my early position, and then you've just flat called with Ace 5 off. I mean, you're just crushed, and you're out of position, and this player might squeeze you or some other like scenario like that. So yeah, this should be a snap fold. Okay, so he even squeezed. Like basically everything bad happened in that hand. Like you called pre-flop when you're dominated. You got squeezed. Like it just, yeah, that went pretty bad. So yeah, this is a 3-bet to like 50 cents. Yeah, I mean you're just 3-betting way too small. So the reason I say 50 cents is 3 times his bet, which is 45, and then because you're quite deep, so you've got like 720 to 735 to start the hand with. You just want to make it a bit bigger so that stack sizes are set up post flop. definitely c-bet this if you want. You got the backdoor nut flush draw, and you want to fold out like pocket tens and lower, because he's going to be set mining a lot here. So I think 40 cents is good. This is another good card to barrel if he's got an underpair to the tens. He does have tens and jacks in his range, and some flush draws, but you block quite a lot with the ace of spades, and you've got equity with the ace of spades, and you've got two overcards, and you've got the gut shot. So I think this is definitely a double barrel for like 85. Yeah, that's the same size I do. So I think you played that hand really well, besides the small 3-bet pre-flop. So yeah, this is a fold. Let's see if you're going to call again. If it was suited, I'd call, but offsuit, it's a fold. So like, let's just see how you get in trouble here. Like, you've got bottom pair, and I can totally imagine you calling one bet just because you have hit a pair, and you're just gonna set yourself up for failure. So one guy's folded, and you're just gonna feel compelled to call, aren't you? Okay, so you spike your ace. So yeah, I think the call on the flop's pretty loose, and probably a losing play. The flushes come in, but you don't have the flush, and the ace is a scare card to his big pairs like tens, jacks, queens, 9-10, 9 jack suited if he did open that. So I don't expect you to get called by much. Maybe like king queen with the king of clubs. I mean, pocket kings with the king of clubs, stuff like that. So I think your check's okay. Yeah, I think your check is good actually under the circumstances. And then you value bet the river. It's honestly, it depends on the opponent. If you think he's going to call two streets with worse, then you should bet twice, obviously. But if he's a thinking player, he's not going to call down like too much. Then yeah, checking and betting the river is better. But I think 5-0 against an unknown, I think you should probably be betting twice there. Because if he has like ace king, ace jack, and forget the queen's come, but ace queen, he might check because he's got showdown value in the form of an ace, but he's scared of the flush, and then in that sense you might still call two streets, but you miss one street of value. So see what happens here. I think you can only flat, don't think you can raise, but I think you've got the best hand, and if he's got ace queen, then so be it. Okay, so he was getting tricky by checking the nuts on the turn, so that's definitely worth noting. I guess that's another reason why checking back the turn is a good play, I guess. I didn't really think he'd check once he turned the nuts, but yeah, I guess you don't want to bet and get check raised and have to fold, or have to call and put yourself in a tricky spot. But yeah, I didn't think he'd have the flush there. But yeah, that hand worked out pretty well. I think you played it good. Apart from the call pre-flop, but yeah, so that's a fold. So yeah, like this is a good fold. Like your king's going to be dominated a lot here, and you realise this. You're going up against a strong range because he makes it 4x, and then you fold your dominated king and your dominated 9. You should be thinking the same when you have a weak ace. So yeah, 3x here. Yeah, good. Yeah, you flop pretty big, so 20 cents here is good. 15's a bit small. It worked out, but it would go bigger. Because when you have a pair of aces there, you want to protect your hand. Well, not protect you, but you want to protect, but you also want to get value from draws. Big value. Yeah, if king 9 off, I open in the cutoff there. So I'll be opening this blind versus blind, but I think I'll be folding to a button open. So yeah, we're out of position, we're gonna 4-bet, and I think the sizing would be like $1.35, maybe $1.40. I think $1.50 is a tiny bit too big, but he's shown a lot of strength, so I don't imagine him folding. So yeah, I think under the circumstances, it's probably a good read in that he's showing a lot of strength. If it was 45, he might have been bluffing, but yeah, I think this is fine. I think it's good. It's better to go bigger than smaller. The only reason I went for suggested the smaller size is because you can maybe still be bluffing in that spot. I'm not sure. So it's a shame he folded, but yeah. So here I'm definitely going to squeeze. I'd make it like 65 or maybe 70 at a push, but I think 65 is good because you're quite deep, so that's why I say 70. But, okay, you call. It's a bit like weak tight. Your hand's going to play better heads up and with a smaller stack to pot ratio. You don't want people to, like, if this guy's got pocket deuces, like, you just don't want him to get in cheap. You can just call here. You can't raise. So yeah, we're just gonna check call. Yeah, we're calling this. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, we're just definitely check calling this. And if he's got ace jack, then so be it. I mean, you're not beating much. You're losing to ace king. It's just a question of whether he makes us bet with ace 10 or ace 9 some of the time. I just think your hand's too under rep to fold. If he's got some weird ace 7, ace jack, then so be it. But I think at 5 and out, I think your hand's just too strong right now. Not feeling great about it, but if you're not calling ace queen here, you're basically only calling with ace jack. Well, two pairs and sets really. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I think you have to call. So yeah, he had ace jack. It's just another argument for 3-betting pre. You're dominating his range here, and you're dominating his like flat calling range. So if you've got ace queen off and you squeeze, firstly he's going to fold a lot of hands. Like, I know he's probably going to call stuff like that, but maybe these small pairs which have decent equity against your hand. But anyway, if he's, I don't know who this guy is. So against like weak players, they'll probably call like these hands. Queens probably sometimes. When you 3-bet, they'll probably still call some of the stuff like that. And ace queen is just going to be, it's going to be ahead. So yeah, I just think 3-betting's better. And yeah, about the river call, I mean, it's close. You're kind of gonna need a read about whether he's a solid player or he's like fish. But yeah, like I said, it's tough. It's a tough river decision. I'd probably play it the same. The flush draw missed. All the gut shots missed. So for that reason, I think you should call. Here, I'd probably call because it's such a good price. Flop a gutter. A double gutter. Probably check calling. Okay, perfect. So you got a bit nice and big here. So 23 is what you've got set up. So that's a good size, I think. Yep, that's good. So this is an interesting spot. The flush comes in, 4 to a straight, but you've got the nut straight. I think betting like 50 cents is good. Maybe even 55 or 60. Because he's going to call with a 7 if he's got a 7. And then if he raises, then you can just easily fold. 56, I think that's fine. Okay, so he didn't have the second nuts or anything like that, so like the worst straight. Here I just think in terms of playability your hand's quite unplayable, so I think folding's fine here. A hand like a suited connector, suited gapper, if you're going to 3-bet and fight back, I think something like that would be much better to choose rather than this where the 5's not going to play very well. Your hand isn't suited. Maybe a suited ace would be good. Something like that. So I think calling's a big mistake here. I don't hate your lead. Not in love with it either. The board's pretty wet. Whatever. Yep, so this bet nice and healthy. 20 cents is good. So this is an interesting one. So you block 9-10. It's unlikely he's got ace king or flop straight, or queen jack for that matter is pretty rare. So you definitely got the best hand here. It's just a question of, can you raise and get called by worse, or is it better to flat and let him try and outplay him post flop if he's got a flush draw? I think you got a flat, in my opinion. You don't want to get it in against like queen 10 or king queen and just be kind of sick about the kicker problems. I mean, you can. You could have like 9-10 of diamonds or something. I think flatting is better here. I don't think you want to go too crazy. I think ace queen you can raise. I think queen 9 is just on the weaker side of things. So the flush draw does get there. Your hand is still too good to fold. So we check, so that's pretty promising. So I think checking back's okay. And then we always got the best hand here. So I think a bet of like 90 cents is good. Or like 85, 80, just to get called by a jack. Yeah, so that's pretty, it's probably on the smaller side of what I would do, but I think it's still okay. Yeah, so I'd be interested to see what he had. And then I definitely note down that he raised the flop there with like, I can only assume a jack with a good kicker. So we're definitely going to call here. And then just check fold. Okay, we might play this. Against the short stacking fish, probably just call, given the price we're getting, and how he's probably going to make mistakes. So I think we're check calling once. When he pots it, I'm just going to fold. Like, there's no good card on the turn. You've got no flush draw equity. You've got like, what's that, five outs. Couldn't count there. They might be dirty. Like the ace might be a bit dirty out. Maybe he's got ace jack or ace 9. Unlikely, but might happen. That's too loose of an open. Like if you're opening ace deuce there, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how this software chooses the hands to open, but there's no way you should be opening 42% of hands in the hijack. You should normally be opening like, I think like 17%. So try and stick to that. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate a check fold on this flop. Like when you think of the hands he's calling with. Let's take out some of the better hands. Okay, let's just say he's calling. Okay, so he's calling. I don't know, something like that. And then you've got ace deuce off, my flop off, 9 of hearts, 10 of spades, king of hearts. I mean, his range is just ridiculously far ahead. Oh, so you do check, that's good. What does it do? So yeah, all of the stuff that's in the darker blue has like hit the board in some way. like in terms of pairs, and then even these two, they're like blue, but they flop the nuts. Okay, and even the better aces are dominating you, so. So yeah, I just fold a6 off here. Your hand's not going to play too good. See, like, you do know this stuff. Like, you made a good fold there. Here, I probably 3-bet it as a bluff. I don't think flatting is going to play itself very well. Yeah, I mean, same as earlier. You just set yourself up to get squeezed. Your hand's pretty strong as well. And now you're going to have to fold it. Yeah, I mean, there's no play here apart from fold, but I think you should have 3-bet pre. Yeah, I mean, same as before. The 8 is just a nothing card. Like, you're playing with one hand, basically, one card. There's no way you can really do much, and you're probably going to pay off one street, right? Yeah, I mean, there's I can see it coming, but now you're just going to fold, aren't you? So there's nothing you can do once you, like, you made the mistake pre-flop, not post-flop, really. Yeah, I think this is an okay open. Queen 3 suited, I probably open the button if it folds to me. Yeah, open that. You got decent equity with the queen high, but it's offsuit and the 4 is pretty weak. So I think you can either 3-bet this as a bluff or just fold. So it's up to you. Yeah, folding's fine. Queen 9 on the button's like a snap open. Yeah, I mean, if it folds to you, you should definitely be opening this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're hanging on to this good. You gotta open this, yeah. King 8 suited is too loose to open, I think. Yeah. I think raising to 20 is good here, just to push this guy out. And then you can go heads up versus the guy who limped the button. He looks like a pretty weak player. That's what I would do. So yeah, limping I think is a bit too weak tight. You've probably got the best hand here. I wouldn't mind a bet, just because this guy's going to call you with way worse. Like a lot of the time. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about it now. Probably calling once, maybe improve, but I think this guy's got a king quite a lot. I'm calling 10 cents against this guy. I'll probably check folding this river. Yeah, just fold. Yeah, so I think the river is a pretty easy fold. But I think the turn is a snap call, so yeah. And then I'd note that that guy limped king queen on the button. I think calling is the play here. Can't 3-bet, can't fold, so I think calling's the one. Yeah, ace high is probably good here, so check call probably. Queen's pretty good for his range, so I think you shouldn't bet this queen. Check call maybe, check fold maybe. When he mini raises you as well, I think you should just let it go. You've got a good price, but you're just never good. And like calling the turn and folding on that river is just pretty bad. You just set like 15 cents on fire. Jack queen off is a fold here. Yeah, I mean you're just dominated, same as I've explained earlier. So yeah, we're definitely check calling the open ender though. Okay, he hit the straight. He's clearly scared of the ace, so you can't bet too big. So I think like 45 cents is good here. I think that's fine. Yeah, nice bet. Ace 4 suited, just fold to that. That's definitely a fold to an under the gun. So yeah, I think one of your big leaks is calling when you're dominated. So definitely like put that top of the list of leaks you need to fix. Against the 4x as well, it's a pretty big leak. And I wouldn't bet here. Yeah, good. I just fold. Yeah, I mean, like why are you calling? You've got a backdoor for nut flush draw, one overcard. The 4 is just basically a dead card. Like you're gonna have to turn your hand into. If you don't turn your hand into a bluff, then this would have been a very poorly played hand. So I'd maybe like a check raise here. Yeah, I mean folding there is just tragic. Calling the flop and then folding there is just really bad. Like the only, like you shouldn't just be hoping to hit a club on the turn. You got to be able to hit the club on the turn or turn your hand into a bluff on when you miss the club turn and stuff like that. So yeah, just plan ahead. Like what's your plan? Like you're not going to finish that hand with the best hand. It's very unlikely that's going to happen. So you got to try and find a way to push him off a hand. And given he only half pot it on the flop into 2 people, shows he's not that strong probably. Should be betting bigger if he is strong. Yeah, folding there's fine. 8-9 connected on the button. I mean that's an open for me. Probably going to stop this video at like 40 minutes, just because I've got a lot of videos to get through. And I think I've covered some of the most obvious leaks that you've got. So this is a spot where you can check. Like you just crush this board so hard. So just give him a chance to catch up. Yeah. So now the king's not a great card in terms of it probably scares him a bit, but you just can't check again. So bet like 20 to 25 cents and hope he pays king. Checking there I think is a big mistake. I think you do need to bet. And now you just bet way too big. Too big at the wrong time. I mean, if that doesn't sum it up, I don't know what does. Yeah, I mean, okay, I definitely think you should be betting the river for value, and it's a shame he did have Queen 9. I was meant to pause it before I saw the result, but you know this guy's not very strong. But he knows you look quite weak, so I think on the turn you can bet. And versus this actual hand, he's probably going to call with his gutter just because you look quite weak. And then the river obviously doesn't complete much, and I definitely think you should bet it, but I think I go for like 25 cents. And then even if he raises, I'm definitely snap calling him and hoping he's bluffing. But yeah, I mean, that's just a pretty unlucky suck out. So I wouldn't worry about that hand, but I do think you should maybe, yeah, definitely bet the turn, bet the river, and probably call a raise. But yeah. King 6 defense. I think I just prefer a fold. You're dominated a lot. Yeah, I just think folding there is fine. You can peel, but it's probably not recommended. This is one of those flops where the ace hits you harder than him, but the 8 and the 9 and the suited board hits him pretty hard. He's got a lot of like 8x, 9x, and Jack 10, Jack 9, Queen Jack type hands, and that's just too small. Should be betting bigger. If you're going to double barrel, this is the card to double barrel on. So there's 2 overcards to the 8 and the 9 now. So this is a great chance to take it down against one of those hands. So yeah, I think he's got an 8 or a 9 here, and he's just going to check it back, and he's going to have the best hand. So I think he's betting with like maybe a pair of 10s, a pair of 9s, and he doesn't really know why. But yeah, there's nothing you can do there. So but I wouldn't mind a check fold on the flop, to be honest. Check fold on the flop, but if you barrel the flop, then barrel the king on the turn. Here against the min raise, I'm definitely going to 3-bet for value for like 35 cents. 25 is too small. Yeah, I've gone over the 3-bet sizings quite a bit now. Yeah, so on this type of board, I'm just going to bet like 35 to 40 cents, probably 35. Yep, that's great. Yeah, just make it bigger. Like, I'm not sure why you bet so small. So yeah, you made a good fold with a dominated ace there, so I know you can do it. It's just when you choose to. 20 cents is good here. Like, the jack is completely unblocked, so it's gonna have quite a lot of it. So yeah, 45 cents is good here. The ace is a pretty bad card in terms of it's scary, but I think your hand is definitely good here, so I'd probably bet like 80 to 90 cents to get value from a jack. And he was just floating with an ace. I mean, that's unlucky. I still like the value bet. Yeah, I think that's still a good value bet. I mean, if you're checking, like, are you check calling or are you check folding on the ace? Like, there's no easy way to play that river card. I think betting it also serves as a blocker bet against an ace like this ace. Whereas if you check, you might bomb it with an ace and you'll feel sick. Whereas betting $1, you might just flat, which he did. And if he's got a jack, he still might call as well. So I think that's well played. So yeah, we're definitely set mining here, and then just check folding. 10-8 suited on the button. I mean, that's just an open like every time, no matter who's in the blinds. Yeah, 5-6 suited. I mean, what are you doing? Let me just check out was 5-6 suited. Yeah, I mean, like, why are you folding that? I hope that was a misclick or something. Like 5-6 suited. It's a good hand. Blind versus blind. No one had raised. When you just saw just now, you took it down with pocket threes. There's no reason you can't do the same with 5-6 suited in the blinds. So yeah, we're definitely set mining 3 ways. And then there's check fold, same as the pocket threes. 2-3 suited on the button is a fold, yeah, but the other hands were opens. This hand we're probably going to defend against a small blind open. Against the button, I think we can just fold. So I think your hand is strong enough just to flat. 3-betting is also an option. Folding isn't. So yeah. So I think flatting's fine. We're definitely going to just check, well, call this flop. I mean, I don't love the call on the turn. You did bet very small, but you might have to turn your hand into a bluff on the river. See what comes. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a fold. I don't think you can, if he's inducing you with like the straight, then you don't want to fall into that trap. So just fold, and if he has like a7, then so be it. Okay, he had pocket deuces this time. Pretty bad play from him. What do I think of your call? I mean, he did bet really small, so you don't need to be right very often. But I personally would fold. There's just so many hands that beat us. Like if you had pocket threes instead, would beat. So yeah, I think he was just blocker betting. Didn't want to lose a big pot. Right, I'll go for until like 45 minutes, I reckon, and then I'll stop. So yeah, I'm definitely going to 3-bet this to like 50 cents, maybe 55. 45 was okay, but I'm just saying I probably would go bigger personally. Jack 5 off, probably min raise the button if it folded to me. Ace Jack playing that. Ace King obviously playing. So yeah, 50 cents. Whoa, what the? Okay, I don't understand your flat call whatsoever. You don't have any reads on him according to your HUD. So I think 3-betting for value is like the obvious play. Probably calling once. Yeah, I mean that hand was played pretty bad. Let's see what you do here. I wouldn't mind a fold. I think you're raising to isolate is okay. You're in position, so that makes it a bit better. We're just going to see what happens post flop. So you plot the gutter. So yeah, we're definitely c-betting this for like 30 cents. So yeah, I think that was an okay played hand. Like your hand is quite weak, but it's probably ahead. Ace high is probably ahead, and yeah, I mean if you can c-bet a lot in position and take it down, then it's okay. Whereas if you're in the small blind here, then I would dislike this play just because you're going to be out of position with a very marginal hand with a pot which is inflated beyond what it was going to be before. So I think that was good given that you were in position. So yeah, we would defend that against the button or the small blind. So yeah, we should be opening this. Yeah. Like there's quite a lot of pots you've taken out from this blind stealing. So just try and notice that and then take advantage of it. So yeah, this is a fold for the same reasons I said earlier. Yeah, I mean you just dominated a lot. If your hand was suited, I'd prefer the flat. A bit of deja vu. So yeah, we're just check folding this flop. Right, I'll wait for one more big hand and then I'll wrap it up because I've got to make my dinner with my housemate in a sec. King 3 off. King 3 suited isn't an open on the button, in my opinion. You can maybe open that if it folds to in the small blind. I probably would. Probably going to set mine against this guy just because he looks kind of fishy. We're out of position, but he just looks kind of fishy.
On Christmas Day.
Yeah, just check fold. 10-9 off. I think I open it there. Yeah, I do. Yeah, good fold with the ace 9 off. Jack 10 off is a good fold. Let's fold. Okay, this is a flat all day. Yeah, good flat. Okay, so the plan is definitely to raise this flop. It's so wet. He's never going to fold a king. He's not going to fold a big hand like ace queen of hearts, ace jack of hearts. Queen jack, if he's got it, you're going broke. If he's got kings or tens, you're going broke. But we're just raising here like every single time. So I bet like 25 cents here. He's showing weakness, but it's so wet, you just have to protect. So you got the house. It's a great card to barrel because none of the draws got there. So if he's got a 10, if he check called a 10, he's probably still going to check call a 10 here as well. So bet like 50 cents or 55 cents. 35 is just way too small. You're missing out on massive value here. I've got a feeling you're going to try and make up for it with a big river bet. I think that might scare him with like a 10. But nonetheless, given the size of the pot right now and what your hand is, I'd bet $1.10, $1.15. And he folded. But yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts on the hand. If he had a big draw, then you basically just allowed him to see cards. I mean, you did have the full house, but I just think he would have called more if he had a big draw. Alright, I'm going to wrap up the video there, but to summarize, 3-bet bigger, especially when you're out of position. Bet bigger when you got a big hand. Fold more pre-flop when you've got a dominated hand, which is like weak aces, weak kings. Yeah, there's so many hands that you should be opening on the button, in the small blind, and in the cutoff, which you weren't. Like queen like 5 suited, queen 8 suited, 5-6 suited, like king X suited. Yeah, just hands like that. And then yeah, maybe play like a tiny bit tighter post flop. So like when you're playing a weak ace and you pair the bottom card and it's third pair, just check fold. Like, I mean, obviously folding pre would have saved you that mistake, but the reason this was a losing session is because you gave away free money by calling flop, calling turn, folding river. I think one time you were good when he had pocket deuces and he was just barreling off, but yeah, that's my take on this session. Okay.